Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Assiniboine Park Zoo and our first creature feature. We're here at the Kinsman Discovery Center. My name is Allison Ginsberg, and I'm the Manager of Animal Training and Enrichment here at the zoo. First, we'd like to say from our family to yours, we hope that everybody is staying safe and that everybody is doing well at home. We miss all of you guys and look forward to the future and seeing your smiling faces around the zoo. I know the animals are missing seeing you guys as well. Secondly, we want to assure everybody that the animal care team is still here each and every day taking care of the animals, continuing to provide the best in animal care and welfare like we did every day before this. So today, we're going to be talking a little bit about one of the aspects of care that we give to our animals. So what does great care and welfare mean for our animals? First and foremost, of course, it's making sure that they have a very specialized diet that's specific not only for each species, but for that particular animal. Making sure their habitats are nice and clean and taken care of. And then my favorite part is the training and enrichment. We're here with one of our meerkats right now. By the way, if I didn't introduce myself, my name is Allison Ginsberg, and I'm the Manager of Training and Enrichment here at the zoo. So training and enrichment is a part of the behavioral husbandry program. And all that means is we ensure that our animals' welfare is met by having them exhibit natural behaviors. And we do that by doing different types of enrichment. So we can do what we call olfactory enrichment, which is different types of smells. We can spray perfumes and herbs around their exhibit, as well as sometimes even different scents from other animals around the zoo. Hard to compete with those faces, huh? We can also show different types of toys to them, so different colors, things for them to play with. These help to bring out or elicit natural behaviors. If you've ever come by our polar bear exhibit, you may have seen our bears hopping up and down on a big giant barrel. That helps to simulate what they would be doing if they were breaking through the seal ice, or the ice in order to get to the seals. We can also do different types of puzzle feeders and feed. We can hide their food in various locations around the exhibit as opposed to just putting it out on a tray for them. Different puzzle feeders where we actually hide food and they have to solve the puzzle in order to be able to obtain the food. For our meerkats, that's one of their easiest things for them to do is to give different types of apparatus or things for them to forage through in order to find their food. In the wild, there's not going to be a big tray of food presented directly to them. So they have to learn to use their habitat and work together as a group in order to find that enrichment. By the way, if anybody's ever wondered what a group of meerkats are called, they're known as a mob, or a gang, but most affectionately known as a mob of meerkats. So we're going to go ahead, since they're very curious right now, we're going to go ahead and have one of our animal care team, Carla, come forward with some enrichment. She has several different types. Now meerkats in the wild and here will have a very variable diet, so they'll eat different types of insects, as well as lizards, small rodents, and even fruits. So we have kind of a mixture of that right now. So we're going to have Carla come on out.
While Carla's coming out, we have some people asking on the feed what their names are.
Their names, there are 4 boys. They're all brothers. Aranos, Bentley, Eduardo, and Andulo.
We have a question from Matthew. He's asking if they can climb trees.
Well, this type of animal, meerkats, tend to actually live more in the plains of the south part of Africa, so grassland. So they don't typically climb trees. They're diurnal, which means that they are active during the day and hunting, and at night they'll actually go underground into burrows in order to rest and sleep. And actually you'll see that there's different tunnels. One of them just came out of a tunnel. So that's to help simulate those burrows that they would have in the wild. So in that trough is a bunch of hay, and hidden under the hay is a number of different food items. And in the puzzle feeder right here is a number of different insects. So they're going to have to figure out how to open up that apparatus in order to get to the insects. And as I mentioned, this helps to elicit natural behaviors. So not only are they actively using their brains and maybe even working together as a group, which is how meerkats will hunt in the wild and forage for food, is as a large group. There you go, you're gonna help pull it over.
This might be a question for our zookeepers, but we have some questions about how do you tell them each apart?
As you work with certain groups of animals, you get to know individuals. So I wouldn't say on the first day of meeting these guys you'd be able to tell them apart necessarily, but over time we've been able to tell them apart by their face. They all look a little bit different, and Dulo in particular has very dark markings on his face, and he's got more of a pinker looking nose. The other two boys have a little bit of a pink nose, one has a black nose, and Bentley, he's just always been sort of the largest one, so we kind of go by his size, and his face shape is just a little bit more oval than the other ones are.
Great. We also have some people asking how old these guys are.
They will be 5 years old on August 1st of this year. So they're 4 right now, so August is their birthday.
Awesome. We have another question as well about why do they stand upright?
That's called century. So basically it's the outlook behavior that the meerkats do, and it's basically a protective behavior. So usually the other ones that are foraging are the ones eating, and there's usually one lookout, and they'll swap. So the one lookout will kind of come down, and then they'll swap sentry positions. But as you can see, there's 3 foraging right now, and one is sort of the lookout, and it's for protection of the group.
Awesome, thank you. Let's take a look at the foraging they're doing right now. Maybe we can talk a little bit more about the different types of behaviors that we elicit with enrichment.
Absolutely. So for meerkats specifically, you saw that they were digging, and you actually even saw one of them digging right over here in the sand. That's a natural behavior that they'll do in order to get to insects and other types of bugs. So in here, we're eliciting that dig behavior and having to actually hunt or look specifically for food. It seems they're very investigative of that, and I imagine once all of the insects and the food is out of that, they're going to all probably turn over to this puzzle feeder together.
We have a couple of questions as well as about what do they do for play or for fun?
They're a social animal, so they find solstice in being together as a group. I find they sleep together in sort of a meerkat cluster. We have a little simulated den area that you can see them here at the zoo, but we also have this little bed in a little tub there, and we usually find them sort of huddled there together, and it just forms relationships within the group, and they groom each other and eat together.
We have a few questions as well about what an average lifespan of a meerkat would be.
In a zoo environment, their lifespan is between 12 to 14, maybe 15, but usually it's 12 to 14, and it would be half that in the wild, so 6 to 8 years old.
A question from Stacy here saying her kids are asking where their natural habitat is. Where do they come from in the wild?
They would be found in southern Africa, so the Namib and the Kalahari Desert are where these guys will be found in the wild.
A question from Francis here from Tommy, who's 7, asking if they like to play together or apart.
I would say they like to play more together. It's more behaviors that we're seeing rather than play, although some animals do elicit play behaviors. These guys, I don't find they play. It's more they're doing something for a reason. So they are foraging now because they're getting food for doing their behavior.
We're gonna see if we can get a little bit closer to see what's going on with this puzzle feeder. Oh, not a fan of the camera. We'll try to give them some space, see if they come back there. We have a few people asking as well, are they in the cat family, or what family of animals are they in?
They're from the mongoose family.
Mongoose.
Yeah. That's their closely related relative.
And to go back to one of the questions from before about play, oftentimes animals in large social groups, sometimes the play is for variable reasons. So sometimes it's to help strengthen bonds. Sometimes young animals will play in order to, they look like play, learning how to battle one another, and like polar bears, you'll watch them and it looks like play behavior, and sometimes it is, but other times the reason for that is to learn how to spar when they get older. So a lot of behaviors that you see animals do and elicit to us may look like play, and sometimes it is to strengthen those bonds, but it does also have a very important reason behind it that helps that animal to survive in the wild, either singularly or as a group.
We have a couple questions as well about what kind of bugs are in this puzzle feeder, and what kind of bugs do they usually eat?
We get crickets and mealworms at this in here, so that's what's in the feeders right now, are crickets and mealworms. Some of the beetles are just the different life forms of what a mealworm is, so that's the little beetle in there. They also get, on occasion, superworms, but their main ones they get here at the zoo are crickets and mealworms.
We have got a couple questions about, in the wild, what would their predators be? Can either of you guys answer that?
They would be jackals or birds of prey. So I think the harpy eagle is an eagle that is in the same area as them. So that's also one of the reasons why they would be kind of looking up to the sky, is that they would be looking for birds of prey coming to hunt them, essentially. So they would be wanting to alarm call when that happens.
And you just saw him problem solve. You realized, why am I keep coming from above, which is harder to get them, so he tipped it over, and now he realized that he has much easier access in order to get to the crickets. So that's exactly what we want to see. We want to see behaviors from them that help to aid them in order to get food in the wild and here.
We just got a question as well. Are they actually friends with warthogs in the wild? I think that's probably a no, but...
Is that related to a certain movie that we've all seen?
Maybe.
I would say no. My humble opinion.
We're getting lots of great questions on the feed, and we're going to try to answer as many of them as we can, and whatever we can't answer, we're going to try to answer in the comments later, so stay tuned to the post as well. See if they can solve this.
Everybody's favorites when they come and visit this building in particular, but I know that a lot of people like to see these guys, and they're active during the day, so, and they would be active during the day in the wild.
Mm-hmm. Still hard at work on these different feeders.
Going to say to everybody at home, enrichment isn't something that's only reserved for animals in zoos and aquariums. It's something that you can do at home with your own pets. For your dog, you can give them different types of toys. You can actually even hide their kibble in like a Kong and seal it with peanut butter, so they have to learn how to get to that. So these are all things that you can actually do at home with your animals in order to enrich their lives as well. Well, we want to thank you for joining us today with our Meerkats. Again, we hope to see you when the zoo opens, and definitely come and visit these boys. And tune in on Wednesday. We'll be doing another creature feature, this time talking about veterinary care with our carper seals. Thank you, everybody, and take care of yourselves.